Okay, hello guys, and welcome back to episode 13 of the podcast of It's a Man's World. And today I have a very special guest. I know I say that every week, but this woman is a female boss leading from the front and also very close to where I have come from too. And as always, as I said in the last two episodes when I'm home, I absolutely love interviewing people from the same area. We know each other a long time, so we kind of have our ins and outs of like where we started. And I think I was nearly one of your first ever clients when you were starting with the lashes, which is crazy. We live very close to each other, but I'm going to introduce Thammy and I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I'm sure a lot of you people know, but from a business perspective, a mum as well, and just overall an amazing person that's building this empire. I just really was excited to interview you and showcase your journey, and I know it's going to inspire a lot of people. So let you introduce yourself to everyone.
Oh gosh, thanks so much for having me on. I'm so happy. So obviously my name is Thammy, or Tam, or whatever you call it. I'm the owner of Thammy Lash, CrossFit CFBT. I am a now retired weightlifter. I only retired about a month ago. And I'm the first female to medal for Ireland.
No way. Love
You didn't even know that.
There's lots to catch up on, okay?
You didn't even know that. I know, it's so much, but you're talking about all business. Wait, are we here about business, athlete, or what are we here for?
We're here for everything. We're here for a mix. We want to touch on literally all the points of like where this all kind of started. And first of all, the main thing for me is Thammy Lash. Like that's how everyone kind of knows you from, Thammy Lash. And I was like, remember when I used to go around before lockdowns, everything, and I go around your house and I get my lashes done. And then I was like, we were literally just kind of, we always knew each other kind of from around the area. But where did Thammy Lash start from? Where did everything kind of kick off from? Because it's huge now.
Well, eyelashes, you were one of my I was only talking about earlier on saying like, oh my God, Ciara was one of my day ones. I did your eyelashes on my bed, remember?
I know, that's why I love it though, because it's like, look how far and look what's possible.
The journey, yes,
you know?
Yes. So funny enough, I was gifted an eyelash kit of my ex-boyfriend. That's hilarious, isn't it? He's probably kicking himself.
Why did he hate that?
Here's an eyelash kit. No, I've always said that I wanted to do eyelashes. I don't know why. It was just an interest I was in. And I think we had a fight one day and I think was kind of trying to make it up to me. So he says, look, I got you an eyelash kit just online. It was like a secondhand kit.
Yeah.
And since then I was just more interested in eyelashes. I did on my friends and all that stuff. And I just found like I had a talent for it. You know, when you do something, you're like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah.
So that happened by an accident. So then I was doing eyelashes as well. But the main thing is I was doing eyelashes. How I got the money up is to fund myself to go into sports, to compete for Ireland. So I was making money doing eyelashes to be able to compete for Ireland. So then I turned around, obviously, when I was doing all that competition, all that stuff, I wasn't getting funded. And I seen like a massive opportunity in eyelash extensions. I says, do you know what? This is actually going to fund me. So I'm going to transfer this and establish into business. So I took the chance, took that risk. And I says, I'm going to go for it. And 6 months later, we opened the first salon, which is in Clare Hall. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So like you were one of my very, very, very first clients. And believe it or not, I have so many day ones. It's unreal.
I love that. And people still come all the time.
People still come, and they watch my journey and they say like, wow, Thammy. So I've known for Thammy Lash, but anyone around this area knows me for Thammy Lash.
Yeah. That's
Thammy Lash or whatever.
Yeah.
But more nationwide, people know me as a weightlifter.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know what my name is. Like,
whatever it resonates to people and what they know you for, you're known. And I think that's and for amazing things on both sides. When you say funding there for obviously the weightlifting, what do you mean by that? Like, is it like you aren't in a position obviously to be able to say it forward? And what's the funding for?
No, we never got funded. So Sport Ireland back then never funded weightlifting. So if we go and compete for Ireland, you have to pay everything yourself, into flights, accommodation, into transfers. We were paying it all. I think they probably paid like 10% off. If you're competing for Ireland, Team Ireland would obviously pay for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But even still, this date now, we still have to pay for the likes of our flights, etc., and couple of few things.
Okay.
But it's a bit more, it's a bit better. So I wasn't getting paid. There was no wage. As if you were a full-time athlete over here in Ireland, obviously there's a standard you have to hit. But back then I didn't really have that like type of standard at all, even though I did compete and lifted for Ireland. But we just weren't getting funded. So I said, look, if I break my legs tomorrow, who's going to pay for me? So that's how, I made that decision.
And the weightlifting, where does that come from? Where did that all like kick off from?
Oh gosh, that happened by an accident as well. A few things just keeps getting like happen by an accident, and I just call it the universe.
Yeah, definitely. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So with weightlifting, I was going to the gym like you were, like normal.
Yeah.
I seen what people do in squat, deadlifts and all that stuff, and I just kind of copied them. Once I copied them, I was like, I'm after at this point here now, like I need a bit more of a challenge. So I seen this girl with this lovely abs online on Instagram. So I messaged her and I says, what the hell do you do to get all them abs? And she messaged me back and said, I did CrossFit. So I joined a CrossFit gym, and the first session I came into a CrossFit gym, and one of the coach says, you're a natural talent at this. I'm going to get you into weightlifting.
Wow.
So I joined then weightlifting, and that's how the journey kind of started. First time I competed, I qualified for juniors and all that stuff, and I was so young, 18, 19, I hadn't a clue what I was doing. But you're into this athlete life, and I said like, nah, this is not for me anymore. It's not paying me. But I said, when time is right, I'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah. And I says, I'll let the universe do its job. But when time is right, I'll come back to it. And I knew one day I would come back to weightlifting, but I just didn't know when.
And how long was the gap in between?
Oh gosh. The gap between was like, I stopped at 20. I stopped at 19, 20, came back at 24, and I had 2 kids, married and all that stuff in between.
There you go, people. That's like your answer. That it's never, you just can't give up like that. And was that your plan? Was this all in the plan? Or was this?
No.
So were you still training on the side? Or like, by the way, guys, this is not just going to the gym and lifting weights. If you go on to Tammy's page, you will see this. It is incredible. Like that strength. I'm like, that has to be like practiced over time, or like how does that all happen? Just
naturally gifted at strength.
Wow.
I was just naturally gifted. Like I can squat. My back squat is 145. Sorry, what do you squat? What do you squat, bro?
So you squat 3 people, 3 girls basically.
Yes. That's my back squat. My best clean and jerk is like clean up here and overhead is 100 kilos.
Tough. Wow. Like from the floor and up.
Yeah, clean. I'll actually send you the video, and you can actually even put
it
in. Yeah, the 100 kilos. And I was just naturally gifted. Like, when you're naturally gifted at something, and it just comes natural to you. So I was just lucky I found weightlifting, and I said, when time is right, I'll come back to it. And you'll probably be like, what the hell? Where does this all even come back from? Like, yeah.
Wow. So it was always kind of lingering in the back of your mind that I'm not done here.
Yes. Yeah. There was always about that 10, 20%.
Yeah.
I always knew I was going to come back, but I didn't know when. You're just kind of leaving like a little task like open.
Yeah.
But it's not X'd off, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not closed, yeah.
And right now it's closed off and you've done it.
1000% it's closed off.
Let's touch on to that before we kind of come back into your story and kind of looking at the business side of things and that side. How come it's ticked off and why is it closed off while we're here?
Oh gosh,
you said to me, you're ready to hear this.
Yes. I felt I gave enough to the sport, and still this day, athletes get paid for what they do, and they get like a funding on what they do, get paid each year. We don't. So I know my values and I know what I'm worth. So I'll only give to the sport for 2 years and 2.5 years. And during that time, I medaled twice.
Amazing.
So if I'm going to stay in here, I better be paid for that, number one, because my time at the moment, I don't feel like it's free. Do you get me? And second of all is I felt like a dip was in my business.
Okay, yeah.
When you're the owner of businesses, except yourself, nobody will run it to the way that you want it to. Number one, like my staff are so amazing. Everyone is so good. It's not like they didn't run it, but I was told the gym and the salon wasn't the same if I'm there.
Okay.
Does that make sense
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
couple of people's? And that kind of hurt me a bit, even though I was trying to chase for my dreams. But I said that, look, I will come back, but when this little path is finished. So as I feel like the business was kind of going a bit steady and my athlete life was going there, and I feel like the athlete life wasn't for me.
Okay. You've done it.
I've done it. I've ticked it off. I've created so many opportunities in that athlete life, the likes of getting so much, like even the likes of sponsorship, going on media, all that stuff. And I've done it all. So I wanted to end on a high.
Yeah.
And leaving the sport, like I'm happy to leave that sport. Unless I'd only come back unless my brother beats me, and then I come back and I try and beat him. That's the only way I come back.
He's doing it now, is he?
Yeah, he is. He's going to Paris.
Wow.
In July. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm leaving. And my age is coming in, like your age factor comes into if you're doing high level training.
It's hard. I say it's very taxing on your body.
Oh yes, you're going into lifts. Like minimum, I would probably have to, if I was back squatting, I'd have to touch 120 every single time I'm back squatting. That's a minimum weight. That's just give you a little prime example. You're training I train 7 sessions a week.
Oh my God.
And that's morning and evenings. And it's taxing on your body. And I got so burnt out from it. And the last thing is like my family there as well. My family needs me right now.
Yeah.
My kids needs me as well.
You have 2 kids.
Yeah.
How
And I have
old?
2 kids as well.
How old? Come on, tell me.
Kids are 3 and 5. So they're starting to understand, like, where you going, mommy? Can I come with you? So there was a lot of things that was kind of like open on my plate that I said, look, I did all that sacrifice now. So I'm going to have to leave this and then go back to business and then start driving that on again.
Okay, amazing. And for any mums that are listening that are really wanted to kind of follow a career or even be a little bit more selfless for themselves, how did that work for you in terms of family? Because I know people are like, well, I'd love to do that, but you're saying that you're going to miss out. Like, where's the line that you
balance,
cross?
yeah.
Is there balance?
No.
Yeah.
You can't find a balance, especially being a business owner and being an athlete and also being a mom. Like there's a certain time when I was burnt out.
Yeah.
Burnt out to the point
imagine.
I was crying for 3 months back to back straight. Like so burnt out, like literally fatigued to the point that I was getting sick every 3 weeks for about 2 months, 3 months, and it wouldn't go away. But how do I cross that line? Like the main thing is for me is when I returned back to weightlifting at 6 months, I only had a baby 6 months with a C-section before that. That was during COVID. When I see my brother walking out the opening ceremony, it gave me that spark back. And I says, do you know what? I'm going to come back and make sure I walk to Paris with him. I actually didn't achieve that goal.
Okay.
I tried.
Yeah, you still
At least I
tried.
tried. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But as I came back then, 6 months, the baby was really small. My family is so good to me. I just have really, really good support system. And also my husband as well, he's so good to me as well, Mark.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, I said it to them, look, I'm going to come back. And they says, right, you go and you do what you need to do. And we have your support here. But some days it gets hard, drawing that line of like, oh gosh, I should be here with my kids. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Some days I feel awful. You might not know this, but mom guilt is horrible.
Okay.
Like you probably have a dog or puppy or something, have you? Yeah. And you're like, oh God, I'm leaving the dog here. It's not like that. It's like 100 times worse.
Yeah.
On like your child, and some days they're sick. Like, but I just wanted to achieve a goal that I've never achieved. So I said, I'm just going to go for it. But look where it got me though,
Exactly. And it was great of it. I think support systems is a lot for people. Like
absolutely.
You talk about your mom, your dad, you talk about your family, your friends, your partner.
Yeah.
Like, was that an open conversation or how did that go? Not getting into the depths of it, but did you have to kind of say, listen, like this is really what I want to do, because communication is something that people lack in any sort of relationship.
Yeah. No, I sat Mark down the minute I really wanted it, because me and Mark, we are solid.
Yeah.
We don't fight.
They're
We don't have our
besties.
yes. We're that type of couple. Like, oh Jesus Christ! Like, would you ever not be any more perfect than way?
Yeah.
I do genuinely believe that me and Mark are just perfect. We get each other.
Love it.
So I sat him down and I says, Mark, I actually want to try and qualify for the Olympics. I know you might sound like it's really, when we sit at the kitchen table, it's
Serious.
business and it's serious. So I sat him down and I said, like, I want to go back and qualify and just try. And I says, do you think I could do it? If he told me I couldn't do it, I'd be like, look, okay, no problem. I completely trust you. But he's turned around and he actually says, let me look at your age, because he's into all of this fitness. He
Yeah.
knows, like, what age it peaks, and he knows how to program all that stuff. And he says, do you know what? You're only 24 there now. Your age peaks about 27, nearly 28. So why not? Let's go for it. If you want to go for it, then you have my full support.
I love it.
So
Amazing.
I said, right, if you say so. And I goes, are you sure that you want, you're okay for me to come back? And he says, yeah. And that's just how it is.
Amazing.
Once I got the approval of him, and I said it to my family, they all started laughing. But as gradually they see me go and train every single day, they were like, what, are you trying to qualify for the Olympics? I says, yeah, I am going to try to qualify for the Olympics. And they gradually seen me every day. I'm like, grafting, I'm putting hard work in. And then one day, it kind of really hit my mum. So she just kind of tried to take the kids off me all the time.
Okay.
Just so I get more rest.
God. So
Yeah,
you
that's how I
had
came out.
everything.
Yeah.
Full support.
Yeah, like I have, my main support is my family.
Yeah.
Like, family is
Of course.
everything.
Yeah.
And family is the only thing that you probably need, isn't it?
For
I
sure.
don't really need anybody else or
Yeah.
nobody else.
Definitely.
If I have my family, I'm happy.
Yeah. Love, family and health, I think, is everything.
1000%.
You know.
Like I'd be lost without my family or my kids as well. Like
Yeah.
my brother, my aunts, my uncle. Did you hear my aunts, my uncle? Did you hear me?
The whole
What
fam.
uncle? You always say your aunts and uncle.
Yeah, but the whole family basically.
Yeah, but no, my mom, my dad, my husband, and my cousin. My cousin that did your LVL.
Yes,
yeah,
I love her.
Yeah.
I just see her going past the house sometimes. I always say hey to her. It's such a small world though,
I
isn't
know.
it?
Everybody knows each other, so be careful with what you say.
Yeah, keep it quiet in the Lash salon. But when you look at this whole journey as like, when you bring it all into one little bubble, like it's obviously a lot that we're just touching on topics today. But have you any regrets, and why do you do it all? Like, why did you do all of this? Why? Like, what's that
Weightlifting or business?
Business and weightlifting, like why? Like some people have drives to them that they're like, I done this because like I never felt like I was good enough, or I came from maybe a background of like feeling that lack of worth. Like, is there anything there for you that you feel like this is why I done this? This is to prove to anyone, or what was it for?
Yeah. So anyone don't actually know me personally, and I've said this online there already. I'm only really starting to touch base on like my past.
Okay.
So I came into Ireland when I was 6, and I tell you, I had nothing.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I came from like no money or anything, no money, no friends, no English, and moved over here to Ireland. So I just watched my dad work so hard with 3 jobs. And back then, if you have nothing, like you're hungry to work harder, you're hungry to do better. So I've always said that we were in such a bad place. And I said to myself, you know what? I will never have my kids feeling like this, because I will work so hard in order to be so successful to make my family like be in a better place, be in a better position. That's the number one thing that I feel why I have so much drive, because, like when you have nothing, you work so hard to reach everything, isn't it?
Struggle.
Yeah, struggle brings success and makes you a stronger person.
For sure.
And then a second thing that I was actually only thinking about this, because obviously we spoke about this, the questions last night. And I says, why do I like have this such fire, fierce in wanting to do more? But I really asked myself this, and I really thought back of when I was a kid. I never really understood why sometimes my brain would be this and I was always full of energy. I only was diagnosed with ADHD only a while
Right.
back, but it made a lot of sense
Yeah.
because some people say like she's an oddball. What's wrong with her? Why is she this and why is she that? I was just always full of energy and just acting weird, different. So there was a couple that was comments made when I was younger. And gradually right now, even gradually as I'm still put up like, oh, she's a bit tapped or she's whack or whatever, all that stuff, you know? And all them comments had stayed with me. And I remember it kind of hurt me at the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like them silly comments.
Why are people saying it? Even if it's only a pass remark, you always think, why would you say something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to work so hard to be so successful. And I'm going to look at you next. And I'm not even going to say anything.
Just gonna smile.
I'm just going to smile and say hello. And then that's it. But knowing me, that's like a little success revenge.
Yes.
Do you get me?
Deep down.
Deep down, like
I get
that
it.
drove me to work harder and harder. Gradually, as I'm growing into business, some comments was made here, especially when I was starting, like,
Yeah.
oh, what's she doing? Or why is she doing this? You know, some silly little comments. So I drive myself to be better and then to be more successful, to make myself feel, you know what? I'm so much better than you.
Yeah.
And then I'm so much more successful. You know, the small
Yeah.
few things like you should have never made that comment to me
Yeah.
because look what I've just did.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm so like, right.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like,
anything that
it's
has
like an
kind of hurt
FU,
you has
like-
come back to say,
Yeah.
no, you shouldn't have said that. You're kind of proving your point that everything I'm doing is, of course, it's for you,
Yeah.
but you're also doing it to prove a point to people that I can do it. You underestimate me. This is what I do to say. I always feel like in myself, you underestimate me once, we won't do it again. You'll never
Yes.
make me feel littler than you. And that's why when you're with other people, I think how you are in presence, and it's not about anything that you have. I think how you treat people, that's the thing that remains with people. And
Yes.
people always
Yeah.
remember the shit that you said to them, or people
Yes.
remember how you treat them.
Mm.
So that's why I always say, treat someone the way you would like to be treated.
Absolutely.
important.
And this is my first little ever episode, and this is how this happened. When I was 6 months in doing eyelashes, come here, I was so new. You know, you're 6 months in. So I remember I did this girl's eyelashes about 6-7 weeks, and I went back and accidentally seen somebody online, and seen somebody online had the picture of the eyelashes that I have done and slated me on it. I only remember this, only that I was like, oh my God. And I've seen this, but the lashes were done about 6-7 weeks. Like, come here, when
Oh,
you're
come
so
on
new,
now.
you hadn't a clue what
You
we were
fall off,
doing.
relax.
Exactly. So she put up this picture and she goes, lashes were done. Look at this horrible technique, something like that, and said like, here, let's say Ciara at Ciara Lashes, we don't do eyelashes like this. But I only know, and I stumbled on it because I remember her nose pierce. And I was like, oh my God. And then that girl commented underneath and goes, thank you so much, and all that stuff. And I said, I did her lashes 6 weeks ago. Was that my set? So I checked back, and that was 6 weeks ago. And that hurt me so much because someone
You tried
just
to pull your name down nearly.
yeah, but they never mentioned me, but I knew and I seen it. And I actually cried for about a week, and that built me up. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to get up, and I will never do that to anybody else. I will never slay anybody online or anything like that. But watch me build my little empire, and I'll be better, successful, and than you will ever be. But that's just the mentality that I had.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how Thammy Lash kind of came up a little bit. And I was fiery, and I was like, I'm going to get it.
Yeah. I actually remember, I think, a few things like that. And it was only like the start. You were like 2 weeks in, and I felt like you were like working so hard that you were getting people in, you were like doing everyone's lashes, and we'd all post it up because we were all kind of around the area, and you'd always do it because lashes were only a new thing on the market that people were like, look at my lashes. And I think people get so jealous over other people doing well that it's like, because you're maybe not doing enough, it's always an insecurity that they've reflected back on you. That's like, they like to dig at something. They'll find something like, well, I got this service, did you? And then it's like, they've nothing better to be doing with their time. That it's like, girls, you build people up, you don't pull people down.
Yeah, exactly. And in business, like, you never say, oh, we don't do this, we do it better. Like, that looks really, really bad on the likes of business. You get me? So that's the one episode that kind of really, really hurt me. And like, that got me so fired up into business. And gradually, when you keep on doing business, you're in competitors with this and you're in competitors with that. But then you kind of learn, do you know what? I'm actually in my own lane. You know yourself that you stop competing with other people and you just do what you do, and you try and you compete against yourself more than you compete against others. But that comes with experience. You get me?
Yeah.
So yeah, like how that drive comes in as well. I'm just a competitive person.
Yeah.
But I'm actually competitive with myself.
That's good.
I always say, like, what do I want to do next?
Yeah.
Oh, how can I better myself next?
Sure.
Like, I just can't sit still.
Trust me, I know the feeling.
I just can't sit still. And I'm like, right, I'm at a steady, still pace now.
I know.
What's next?
I need something. I always need like the next step or the next level, or like, what else could I be doing? Or like, people are like, oh, your prep is done now. What are you going to do? Are you going to miss it? Probably say to you with the weightlifting, oh my God, what are you going to do? It's like, guys, there's 101 other things that you can do, that you can always work towards. Now I'm starting to maybe do a bit of high rocks. Now I'm starting to run a little bit, and I can always change it up. But there's always continuous progression that you can do. But just touching back on what you said there about people that are in business, you do not have to state someone else's business to make yours look superior. And people always find out the truth in the end. And be professional. If you master your craft, and if you're really good at what you do, your business speaks for you and markets for you. You don't have to say anything. But the people that are slating other people or tagging them and saying, these got this done in this salon with nails even or whatever, you shouldn't even be at a point where you need to focus on other people. When someone arrives in, say for example it was nails, we're going to take them off and we'll do a new set. Don't worry about it. No need to ask who done them. No need to slate and be like, Jesus Christ. I feel like there's a lot of like, it's
that type of,
it's
the amount of girls we've had in the salon that has got lashes done elsewhere, but like,
you wouldn't say anything.
I would never. I would say, oh my God, are you okay? Right, okay, let's get the removals on. And I says, look, I don't really know who the girl is, but your lashes are off there now, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't see me taking a photo of them and then upload them with like, oh my God, that's absolute disgrace. Do you know, small a few things like that just, it never sat with me from the very, very beginning. So I do believe that is one of the reasons why I'm so far in business. Like, I was one of the first who started Thammy Lash when all eyelash was starting.
Yeah.
Do you kind of remember that?
You're a professional.
Yeah,
and you were the first of the first.
Yeah, I was kind of think so. And one of the things I've never done that was, I am professional on my page and also, you know, to my staff, etc. You understand that?
Of course, 100%. And that's something that I wanted to ask you. How important is it for your team? Like, how important is it to build this team, and how did you start that? Because I know lashes can be quite time consuming, and you can have a set where it might be an hour and a bit maybe when you're starting. But who was the first person that you hired, and how do you have you've got multiple shops now at the minute, do you? Like,
so one is DCU. Actually, I have one in DCU, but I actually have just paused that because I was so busy doing weightlifting. So we only have one currently now in Artane.
Yes.
But I still have to lease up the other thing. That's just like, doors closed, I need to open again.
Yeah.
But the team behind Thammy Lash, like, I do have a really good solid team. I'm happy with my team. And the funny thing is that majority, most of the girls who work for me are working 5 years plus.
Yeah.
5 years plus. When I first started off, I didn't really know what way to hire people, what way I got too personal with them, not knowing when to draw a line. Gradually in business, you kind of just know when to draw that line, be professional and not be too close to each other. Do you understand what I mean?
For sure. You make loads of mistakes with hiring people along the way. And people know when you go into mode of work and it's like the line is drawn in, everyone has a role, responsibility. You know what you have to do, and that's just it.
Yeah. Like, I'm at that stage now where I know where to draw the line. I know how to be caring, be a friend, and be like supportive, but knowing when to draw that line. If you do something in the salon or in the gym, I'm watching you, and something will be said because I have that side of me, and they know not to do it. Once or twice, if I say something, they won't do it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, well, before I always hire somebody, I always say, if I hire somebody and if there's any problems or any issues, I will be the first person to say it to you, and I'm going to be completely honest with that. If I don't like you to do anything, then I will tell you that. But if you don't come in, and example, if you're out the night before and you don't come in the next day, I will not be happy with that. I make sure I say that the very first go. But they kind of know. And the secondly thing as well, I find this is really, really important, that I have to find my gut, follow my gut with this person or not. I've hired a couple of people in the likes of, different businesses that I'm like, oh, I have a little red flag about them. If my solicitor has told me this and I didn't listen to her, she says, if you have a red flag about somebody, that red flag's going to come up one day. So I said, right, if I have a red flag about somebody the next time, because I've actually had to let this girl go and it didn't work out. But now I'm in such a position that I'm able to trust my gut on this on the person that comes in. I know by the way, their tone, their body language, how they're going to, even the likes of their relationship, are they single, are they boyfriends, small little few things. But funny enough, all the girls in the salon and my staff in the gym, everybody is so different. But that's what I love about them.
Yeah.
Some girls are so introvert, some are so extrovert. But that's what kind of makes the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm supportive to the whole team. That's the thing. If I feel if you're a bit upset someday, or if you're a bit down or something like that, I will be the first one to message you. You're a bit quiet today. Are you okay?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. So I do believe that's how I have such a solid team behind me as well.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
You care.
I care. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the word, that I actually care. And they like working for me. And I've always had don't get me wrong, when I was so new, 2-3 years into it, I've made a couple of mistakes, being too comfortable around other staff. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've you kind of gradually learn along the way. But now I do feel I'm pretty happy with the staff right now, and I don't really think I need any more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you the same like that?
Yeah, all the same. You make mistakes along the way. I've hired really the wrong people, and I knew from the get-go. But I was like, no, I need the hire now. But they say hire quick, fire faster. And that was something that I was so scared to do for so long. I was like, I can't have that awkward conversation. I didn't know how to approach it. And then my mentor and my therapist was like, this is how you approach a situation more empathetic. This is how you approach a situation that you don't really want to talk about. And you have to be able to do those things as a business owner. And this is the most hardest part about running your own business. It's no one is coming to do that. You have to have the awkward conversations. You have to tell someone that, listen, it's not really working out, and they might not like it. And you just have to take it with a pinch of salt, because there's going to be tips along the way, but you cannot grow your team and you cannot grow your business without a team.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't. You can't do it all by yourself. You think you can, but you can't. And it's ridiculous. And running 2 businesses, it's super hard because they're both so different. Mine is obviously the coaching and then the clothing. Yours is the lashes and then the gym. They're so different, and they require nearly different faces for each one, because what way you're going into the gym, everyone's there to train and whatever, but going into work with lashes is the same. It's a good vibe, but it's business at the end of the day, and people are coming in for a service. So they're 2 different things, especially with behind the scenes as well. But looking at your whole timeline as a whole, as to how I know you as well, was family planned, or how did this all happen? Because that was something I was curious about.
No, that wasn't planned. As again, I really believe in the universe.
Yeah.
I do believe what's meant for you won't pass by you.
For sure.
And what's passed by you was meant for you.
Yes.
Wait, what's passed by you wasn't meant for you. Yeah.
Wasn't meant for you.
Wasn't meant for you.
What's meant for you.
What's passed me was meant for you. So I actually met my husband at a CrossFit event.
Yeah.
And when I met him at a CrossFit event, I said, oh my God, I actually really like him.
Yeah.
He was full of tattoos. He was musty. I was like, oh my God, he's really handsome. And it was so weird that at the corridor, he walked in and he opened the door and I pushed the door and we just smacked into each other like this. And I was like, oh my God, that's the guy that I like down there. And I was like, oh God. It was like, like little birds that were kind of flying around. But I didn't know if he knew anything. So I was like, oh my God, this is quite embarrassing, right? I need to go. But turns out he had the same feeling at that door.
Right.
So then later on, through Instagram, I received a text message off him. But I liked his photo to give him the hint.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Do you know you like the as
just
if like
letting him know, like,
yeah, I'm not.
Stop
He
it.
never liked anything of me, but I found him on Instagram, so I didn't follow him. I just liked his photo. I was like, you know what? Yeah. Give him that hint. And so he's seen me, so he followed me and he messaged me through Instagram. So he's from Waterford then. So he drove all the way from Waterford and came up here to Dublin. And we went on a first date and I knew I was going to marry him.
Oh my God. Did you?
Yeah, I just knew.
How?
I
Look
just
at me
had
getting
this-
all excited. How?
You'll know.
Okay,
you know
right,
when
yeah.
you'll know. You know when you walk into something or you've seen someone, you just says, you're that person. You just have that gut feeling. And I got that gut feeling the very first date. And he got the same thing. So I said, look, I'm going to marry you. And we married 6 months straight after. We moved in after 3 weeks. I just knew it was the right time. He had his own business. I had my own business. I found somebody who was on the same level as
So
me.
hard as well. Yeah.
Yes, someone at the same level to understand what this business is, what that is. And we just kind of got each other. We vibed straight away. It was just more, do you ever, like people might say like love at first sight.
Yeah.
I swear, hands on my heart, I actually fell in love the minute I opened that car,
That's so
that car door when he picked me up. I said, I'm actually going to marry this man.
Oh my God.
I just knew it. And then we had kids. We always said we wanted 2 kids. And it's just kind of happened. That was it, really. I'm having no more kids.
I was going to say, are
No
you
more.
having?
No. No.
Why?
We will have another conversation. I'll come back and do another podcast.
I said I always interview a year later, so you can tell me where you're at.
Yes. And you can tell me where you're at.
Well,
You
I'm
could be
single at the
pregnant or
minute. No, what? No, actually, I'm okay.
You never know. You might
No.
say this now. But he said to his dad that, Dad, you know what? I've actually finally given up on wanting to get married. I don't want kids. 2 weeks later, he met me. And
Wow.
then 6 months later, I was pregnant.
There you go, people. That's crazy. So when you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
and-
you feel it. Like,
I think when you were talking about red flags as well, they're in business. They're
Mm.
everywhere. You always get the feeling when you know something's off, it's normally right.
yeah, your gut is
You go,
like, I can, oh my God. I listen to my gut so much.
yeah, I do it now.
You do it now.
I didn't.
do
I
it
wasn't
now.
doing it. Grace was like, Ciara, listen to your gut. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And now when you listen to your gut, the answer is always there.
Yeah.
It's always just sitting there. It's just like your brain tells you elsewise.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, like, I think I have a sixth sense or something, but I knew my husband before I met him.
Oh my
It was so
God.
weird.
I love that.
And I could see my future, what my kids were going to look like. Maybe I'm just like completely,
No.
I do genuinely believe in all that manifest
Yeah, me
stuff.
too.
And I could see myself, I give myself structure on where I want to be and I follow that structure. But I did say to myself that I will be married with 2 kids by 21. And that did happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're 21.
I'm not 21 now.
Oh, by 21.
Oh, 21 I was married. Everybody said like, you must be nuts and get married at 21. Well, look, I'm married.
My life.
Yeah, exactly. I'm only about like I'm going 20. I'm 27 now. I'm married, 2 kids. I'm established. I don't even have to
You'd love
carry. Anyway, I'm sorry. You're like
it. But it's amazing to see all of this. And what star sign are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Virgo.
Virgo.
Yeah. Can you
Are you?
tell?
You're an earth sign.
Oh, is it? I don't really
Yeah.
know much about Virgo.
So you're an earth sign. I'm a fire sign.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm Aries.
I don't know
So they're
anything about
totally
this.
different. You should look into that if you like manifestation and all of that. It's really good about the planets and when you're born, what time you're born, how your that star sign, what your qualities are. But I would definitely say Virgo for you. Well, I'd say Earth sign for you, but I wouldn't have said which one.
Yeah.
But that's amazing, and I hope your partner listens back to this, and I hope he's like, I love you, because that is so cute. And I'm sure people that are listening are like, oh my God. But it goes to show though, like, you had that feeling, even with business, even with your relationship, and look where you are now. And out of 10, how happy are you?
Right now, I'm 10 out of 10. Hands on my heart.
Okay.
I'm really, really happy in
Amazing.
every aspect of my life.
Yes.
Because, do you know what? I'm like, I work hard for this.
Yeah.
I earned all of this.
For sure.
Like, I know what I want to do, and I know what I want to do next, and I know where I need to be. And like right now, at the moment, right now, hands on my heart, I couldn't, like, if you asked me this 6 months ago, I would have said I hate my life.
And why is that?
Because I was in such a bad hole. I was in such a dump. Like, I lost myself for about 4 to 6 months straight.
From
Being so fatigued and so burnt out.
Okay.
Trying to manage everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I knew just that qualification really burnt me out, was not just the qualification, it was just handling everything together. It was too much on my plate and I just got burnt out.
And you always think you can handle more than what you can.
Yeah.
It's like Superwoman, no, I can do it. And then it gets to a point where you're like, this is getting way too much.
Yeah, it's getting way too much pressure. And especially like coming back and trying to medal again, that pressure was getting to me. And, you know, like sometimes like media and articles coming out saying like, watch out for this, watch out for that. That gets to you like, oh my God, they're people going to be watching me. Then there came to a point, like came to a point that I was afraid to upload a story on Instagram. It was that bad.
Why? Like people were putting up about watch what?
No, like, do you know when you're an athlete? So when maybe I'm like a bit overthinking it, there was a couple like articles that come out like, watch out what she's going to do in 2024.
Okay.
That put pressure on me then. Exactly. And then when you were like the first medalist in Ireland to do ever such a history, you want to repeat that high again.
Of course.
So I put pressure on myself. But I still medal again, but mentally fatigued is another level.
Or what if I don't do it and then I'm going to be a failure and now look, this is going to be in the newspapers and all, and you're stressing yourself out, except you against you really. Yeah,
but I put that pressure on myself that I was kind of more thinking. And then when you're an athlete competing with other countries as well, like whatever you post shit up online, the athlete sees it. So you can't be so expressive to say, look, I made a PB today.
Yes.
Because if I put a PB up, they're going to try and
beat
me, and I don't want them to beat me.
So you have to be private about competition as well, because it's so competitive.
It's so competitive when you're like competing against other countries as well, especially when you're in medal positions.
Is it a very isolated sport?
Yes.
Yeah. So is it very selfish? Like bodybuilding is very selfish. It's a very lonely game. You don't have a team. You don't have a supportive system. It's just really you, your body, your training, and your food, and building or pulling. Is that kind of what it's like as an athlete by yourself? Because it can be quite lonely. No one really gets it.
Yes, it's very lonely. And it's you against the bar. So you go in, you do like obviously like all the gym work, but in weightlifting, it's you against the bar. Let me put this to you, and you just did that prep there. How long were you prep for?
16 weeks.
16 weeks, right? And did you have to cut in a certain way to be this body weight and cut down to a certain body weight, isn't it? Yeah. And then all your foods and all that has to be, dropped. And then your mood kind of goes down. All right. So see you're in 16-week prep. Try divide that by 5 competitions back to back. So 5 preps back to back.
How did your body do it?
And divided into 18 months.
Wow.
And see the way you were prepping, cutting down, cutting like that to be in this certain body weight and certain look, then try to hit maximal weight, PB weights, like 100 kilos plus in training.
Like that's a long stint, 18 months. And like, can I just ask as well, food wise, like obviously with a prep, you know it's coming down, you know you need to lose body fat, and you know you need to be diced. But with the training that you were doing, What's the food like? Did you have to be in a certain condition? What way did you have to look, or does it not come down to that?
It doesn't, like, you don't have to look a certain way,
Yeah.
but you have to weigh a certain number. So I compete in the 49 kilos. So usually I'd be walking around 51, about
Yeah.
52. But as you're like decreasing all your calories, but then your weight goes up. So your calories goes down, your weight goes up, and then that's just what you kind of have to do. And
What's your food like? Because that's very taxing workouts that you have to do on the body.
yeah.
And when your food comes down physically, how do you do that?
My husband, Mark, was my nutritionist for, I'd say, the whole process of it.
Okay.
I hired another nutritionist to see if we were doing anything wrong. I think the only thing we didn't do actually was we included fats, which was nuts. That's the only thing that I didn't do is have nuts. But other than that, we nailed everything to a T. So basically increase more veg and increase fats. So to actually get my hormones going as well, because some days, like, I'd be late about 2 weeks.
Yes.
And eating the timing of the foods, higher protein and less carbs, cutting, basically everything has to be clean, no sauces. And it came to a point I was only eating cucumber, carrots and 6 boiled eggs.
A day?
Oh no, not a day, for
Just
breakfast or something like that. Yeah. But some days there was a point that I went at a bulk, and then I was so sick that my body was retaining so much water. I ended up going on 1,000 calorie, but I cut 1,000 and then it had to drop that week off to 800 calories per day while hitting
numbers.
Numbers. And that was the week before Europeans. So, and then having a knee injury. And
I was going to say, were you injured at any point?
Yeah.
Because you must have given in at some point.
Oh yeah, sure I had. How many cortisone injections have I had?
Is this another reason why your body is telling you that's enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's enough. Where I had a breakdown
Yeah.
after I medalled.
Yeah.
After I kept it so quiet between everybody. Everybody knew I wasn't myself.
Did you feel very lost?
Yes, very, very lost.
Afterwards, because you didn't really know what to do after, or was it just like, this is my life, what'll I do?
Before and after. I can see the end, but I was just so lost in between because I wasn't myself. I was afraid to upload stories on Instagram. That's how bad I was. I didn't wear makeup. I couldn't have my hair extensions in because hair extensions weighed too much.
And that's a big thing for a girl that likes to look good and look after
your nails.
themselves.
And like, if I have my hair extensions in, that's like 0.20. I'd rather eat that 0.20.
Yeah, so you just had to go around, just suck it up.
Yeah, and then there was a point that I had to cut my hair before I weighed in to be able to weigh a bit less.
That's a lot.
And like my last prep I had to sit in sauna for like 45 minutes to lose 0.020. I had no more waters, so we were like water loading, and I was overweight by 0.3 because I got my cycle that day. So my 1 kilo jumped up on the weight on the scale. But usually I only have to lose 1 kilo about the day before. So I had to try lose 2 kilos. So I couldn't eat for 2 days. And then you have to go out afterwards, not eating for 2 days, sauna as well. There was a point when I started crying, but there was no tears coming out.
Oh my God, that sounds awful.
I'm not really selling weightlifting,
I know,
but
I was going to say, it sounds awful, but was your dream ticked off? And are you happy that you done that? And how did that shape you as a person today?
I never achieved that goal, which was qualifying for the Olympics.
Okay.
And this actually, funny enough, this is all documented. So I'm not lying about this. Somebody actually documented the whole journey of this and seeing what the gym closing and open and all that stuff as well. So all this is documented. So you can actually watch it. It's coming out in July in RTE or something like that. But I know I'm not really selling it, but it's just my journey.
Yeah.
My journey is different to your journey.
It is what it is.
Yeah, my journey is different because I have 2 kids and I have businesses.
Yeah.
But if you were no kids and business, it'd be
a lot easier.
Easier for you. Mm-hmm. But I was just complete burnt out from all that stress I put on myself.
Well, I think you sound a lot lighter, and you
Oh,
seem like
yes.
you're well ready for anything now that you have taken a new kind of direction. And that's what happens. You've ticked that goal off. You've done it.
I'm like, what's
You
next?
can do anything really if you do that, can you?
Yeah. So the one thing that has actually really taught me is I'm not afraid to fail anymore,
Yeah.
because before I went into it, I have never failed anything in my life. Never.
Yeah.
Never failed. Whatever I did in business, whatever I wanted to do, I've always ticked and I've always achieved that goal. Like if I have this certain type of goal, I bought a house. If I want to buy a house at a certain age, I bought it.
Yeah.
I'd have like this car. I did it all. So I've never failed anything. And one of my biggest thing was, what happens if I don't make it to the Olympics? I've never failed anything before. Am I a
Yeah.
failure now? So coming into this, accepting that I've actually failed to qualify. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm all right. Like, I'm still
Yeah.
here.
Failing is good.
Yes, I've only embraced that failure
Yeah.
now,
Right.
where I've never embraced failure before. I've never failed anything before.
Crazy.
So now, like, on all the media was boasting, like, oh, she's going to try, she's going to qualify for Olympics. This article was out, like, this video, this was out. And, like, all making about the Olympics. I'm like, well, what happens if I actually don't make the Olympics? So, and I didn't make it. And I was like, oh, I'm actually still here. I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually perfect the way I am. Like, and I'm not afraid of failure anymore.
I love it.
Like,
And it all worked out for the right reasons.
yeah, it all worked out. And like, don't get me wrong, I probably sound like who is this or whatever, but like, I'm completely fearless right now.
I love it.
Do
Own
you
it.
get me?
Yeah.
Like, I have no fear in doing whatever or talking to anybody or approaching anybody, or because I've said, "Do you know what, I've ticked it all. I've made it up to the game in the weightlifting game. So now I think I'm going to start climbing another ladder, because I feel
Yeah.
like I work better as a underdog.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and less pressure. And I think, like what you've said there, like you're not afraid anymore of failing. And that was one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
So that was one of my questions at the end, was what was one of the biggest lessons that you've learned, and what do you look forward to every day waking up?
What's my biggest lesson is less is more.
Okay.
Less is more in business. Because there was a time that I had 3 businesses, and remember the clothing company I had and all that stuff. I actually had to sell that because it was too much pressure. Sometimes in training, I learned that less is more.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're trying to squeeze all this training in, but your body's not recovered to a few things, all that. And you're always looking for a next. But sometimes embracing what you actually have right now.
Yeah.
And another lesson, I've learned 2 lessons gradually so far, that while you, how do I say this? But gradually, when you get to the next level of your life, it's the next step, every single time you climb your life, I would have to look around my surrounding, and I have to revalue on who's good for me and who's not.
Yeah.
Because gradually, as I grew up, I found some people that was very negative and impact
Mm-hmm.
on my ladder.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You have to let them go.
Yes. So I learned that people come into your life for a couple of chapters,
Yeah.
but they're not there for the rest of your life.
For sure. The
So that's what
seasons.
and I've realized that I remember like being I thought some other people who I really, really thought that I'd have to support my back, my full on support. They were never there.
Yeah.
Gradually, as I kept on climbing, and the people who I didn't expect was there.
Yeah.
It's mad.
The true colours always come out in the end,
Yeah,
and your
that's-
answers are there.
Yeah, like people, like you see their true colors gradually as you keep climbing. Like as you say, like some people might not be happy for you, but I'm happy myself. That's the thing. Like,
You don't need other people sometimes, and as you said, it's like a flower; it loses leaves in certain seasons, and sometimes it falls down and it rebuilds back up from a new seed, and that's kind of what happens on different levels of your life. And once you have a small circle and your family and the people that you love, I think that's the most important thing.
yeah, I had actually had a client in earlier on, so she's actually one of my day ones as well.
Oh.
She's with me 7 years, and I've watched all her journey being with this fella, and he was pulling her back.
Mm-hmm.
The minute she left him, she bought an apartment. She now has a fiance. and she's now pregnant. I only actually did her eyelashes before I came here.
Wow.
I was so new in my head, and we were only chatting, saying like, do you know what? I'm so proud of you. Like, like I've watched your journey. She watched my journey. I've watched her journey.
So
and
nice.
exactly what you're kind of trying to say. Sometimes letting go of a few things, you actually do better.
Yeah.
Taking a step back, and then you go 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Do you understand
It's
what
like
I mean?
someone's pulling you, and when you release them, you just fly.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels. It's
The
like
rope.
one of those pulley things when you let it go, like a frisbee, or one of those bands.
Yeah, that was her. That was her. She let go of her ex-boyfriend. And when I just watched that journey, I was like, oh God, do you know what? I'm really happy for her.
Yeah.
And I do feel exactly the same. Like I've let go of that weightlifting, like what was kind of pulling me back here because I couldn't expand to other businesses. Like the minute I came back to business, I'd done up the salon, I've done up the gym, all that stuff. You get me? I was able to do what I actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes letting go a few things, another door might open. Like, do you get me?
Yeah, and I think that's honestly, it's so inspiring to hear your journey, and I'm super proud of you, especially coming from 7-8 years ago. It's amazing.
From
and
my bed.
It's crazy from your bedroom to this empire now. Like it's
so look at you. Like,
well, both of us, we can say
I've
it.
watched your journey.
Say it.
Yeah, like I've watched you from. I remember you're a physio.
Yeah.
And you know the funny thing is, I bought my first bed off you.
Oh my God,
it was €30.
Bed. And I wheeled it around the corner to you. We live around the corner, by the way.
Exactly. But this is how it actually came about. I was only remember this earlier on, but like, you just look at the journey of some people. Like, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Like, some people, and you're like, what's this?
Yeah.
But like, can I curse in this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
this is anything free fall.
Fair fucking play to you. Like, you took it. And I remember you were kind of saying like, oh, I don't know what to do. Physio here. Will I start this? I remember you actually opened your gym, remember, on top of Kilbarrack. And I looked and I said, fair play to her. Like she wants to do something, you go for it. And I'm all for that. Yeah. Like I'm not the type of person to drag you down if you want to do something. But you have to put your heart and set your mind to it, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think even on some of my posts or anything that I've done, you're always on that, whether it's social media or whatever, or pop a message.
Exactly.
Even if we don't talk, it could be every once in 2 years or whatever. But someone's there like, thank you. And it's nice to pass, obviously, a comment on both ends. We need more of that, definitely, in the world.
Yeah,
and there's food for everyone at the table, by the way. It's not all about who's getting there the quickest. There's food to go around for everyone.
Such a good quote.
Yeah, that's so my coach said that to me. He was like, "Here, there's food on the table to feed for everyone." And I'm like, there really is. Like, there's never going to be a lack of supply of people. The universe is getting bigger.
Yeah, there's more fish in the pot.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, we're starting with the quotes now. But honestly, I love this episode, and I really hope, and I know everyone is going to take inspo from it. I'm going to put that clip below. You need to send it over to me of the weight that you were lifting, because I know people are probably listening like, what's that in weight if they don't know. But like, guys, this is heavy shit. Like, this is so strong that it's like, wait, what? And this is overhead as well, which is phenomenal. And I'm delighted for you with your new chapter. And who knows, maybe in a year's time when I'm back here again, we'll re-interview. Let's see where we're both at. I love to do that on the episode with people and make a little bit of a pact and a promise that we'll see where we're both at in a year's time. And the sky is the limit, really.
I bet you next time we speak, you'll be pregnant or something.
No, I will not. No.
You never know. You might say it now,
but who knows? But it's all meant. Everything is all laid out, and whatever's going to happen will happen for a reason. You meet the right people for the right reasons too, for sure. But thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on. I know you're super busy, and I really appreciate it. And guys, if you have any comments or anything like that, please do pop them below. Please tag us in it. Let us know what you thought of the episode, and thank you so much again for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.